Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope for January 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order. Rising sign first, then your sun sign, and finally your moon sign. So I'm going to break January down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing, which one of your houses it moves through and when, so you have an idea of what areas in life you're supported in during January and on what days. But before I get started with that, I just want to say that January is a really great month for stargazers. On Friday, the 3rd of January, you could see Venus really closely to the moon, and to me, that was a major symbol of hope and optimism for 2025, especially after the black moon in Capricorn that we had on the 30th of December 2024, which asked you to go inward. So Venus is the planet of love and beauty and creativity and what you give life to, and the moon is your heart and your home. And that's why I thought it was such a great symbol, because it's encouraging you to be your authentic self and to express what you're feeling and to give life to new things. Then on the 18th of January, you'll see Venus and Saturn closely together. They'll appear 2.2 degrees apart, and Saturn is structure and security. And what that does then, it gives you the confidence to create and to give life to your dreams and what you think is important in life. You may also see shooting stars via the quadrantid meteor shower, and I hope I said that properly, which continues until the 12th of January. So if there's a clear night and you see a shooting star, please make a wish. And again, I just think this is such a wonderful start to the year, because it's about what great things could happen to me. And I'm going to think about those and create them in spiritual truth, and then I'm going to manifest them in earnest. Okay, so week 1, Wednesday the 1st until Sunday the 5th of January, and I know I'm a little late with this. I'm filming this on the 4th of January. I still want to tell you what the energies were. So on the 1st, we had the moon in Capricorn, and for you, Capricorn, obviously in your sign and in your first house of self. So the 1st of January was really about getting clear on what you want on that day, but also in January and in 2025. What do I want to work on? What is the most prudent thing that I can do to affect really good outcomes through my work, through the energy I'm putting in? On the 2nd and 3rd, the moon then moved into Aquarius, and it joined Pluto in Aquarius in your second house of money, and Venus is also in that second house. So the 2nd and 3rd was a great opportunity for you to look at your finances, your securities, your assets, to learn something new in order to create more abundance, more prosperity, and how to minimize any responsibilities by facing them head on and clearing them and resolving them in the moment. Also on the 3rd of January, Venus ingressed into Pisces. So it moved out of your second house of money and into your third house of communication, where it joined Saturn and Neptune also in Pisces. So that shift is really interesting, because it means when it comes to communication or what you're expressing, you're doing that in a way that feels confident, that uses your imagination, but it also gives you a sense that I have permission to express my feelings, my thoughts, my ideas. So if you're a writer or an artist or a performer, expect to do wonderful work, but also expect the work to become more varied, because you're going to implement new ideas and things that have occurred to you very recently, and to weave that into your work, making it more valuable to other people. The moon then moved into Pisces on the 4th and 5th, and that just amplifies everything I said a moment ago, because it's going to feel like I have feelings, I have certain things that I consider and think about. I am definitely going to express those, and it's a way of taking care of myself rather than censoring myself. Also, what's important here is that from the 6th of December 2024 until the 23rd of February 2025, we have Mars retrograde. Mars is the personal planet of ambition and drive. And when it's retrograde, usually it means that there's less energy or less focus or less of a desire to get things done. So being less productive, right? But Mars rules Aries, a fire sign. That's the first sign of the zodiac, and that's where it's very happy. In Leo, it's also happy because it's another fire sign, but I think Mars in Leo is a little bit much. It's very self-focused on the self. Look at me in the spotlight, give me a round of applause. So the retrograde actually softens that a little bit. And for you, Capricorn specifically, it's in your 8th house of institutions and authorities. So if it weren't retrograde, it could have caused you some problems if you were working for someone, or if you had any things like legal issues, or you were in mediation. You would have been very unwilling to see the other person's point of view, and you would have dug your heels in, and you could have created a lot of conflict. With this being retrograde, if you have any of those things that need sorting out, you'll be able to approach them confidently, but you don't go overboard, and you'll be consistent and look at those circumstances and work in a very productive way to get things done without losing your cool. Also, Mercury and Venus are direct all month, so I expect no issues with communication or transportation. And also, don't hold off from starting a new business or starting a new relationship. It's the time to do it. So in the first 5 days, let's see which houses the moon moved through. It started in your first house of self, and it ends in your 3rd house of communication. So that is the first quadrant, houses 1, 2, 3. So really the first 5 days are about, I've got my energy, I know who I am. What can I communicate, or what can I understand in order to transform my income, to create more abundance, so that the energy I'm expressing and giving actually gives me something in return. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 6th until the 12th of January. On the 6th and 7th, the moon is now in Aries, and it joins the North Node, Chiron, and the transiting ascendant, which are also in your 4th house of family. This is what makes you feel like you're home, your roots, where you belong. And this is wonderful because the moon in Aries is again brave. It says obstacles are there to be overcome and dealt with. So if there are any relationships in your inner circle with family or with friends who are like family, you'll have the bravery to address those things, to challenge them head on, and to heal the situation. So if you do have conflict with 1 or 2 or more people in your life, talk to them on the 6th and 7th and get that resolved. On the 6th of January, Mars retrogrades back into Cancer. So now it goes out of your 8th house and into your 7th. And Mars in Capricorn, I always say it's like someone who has steam coming out of their ears, because Mars in Capricorn can be a little frustrated. Mars likes to get what it wants. In Cancer, it's forced to think about other people's needs and to be considerate. And again, in retrograde, I think that's a good thing because it's great for your relationships. It's next to the part of fortune and Hades in Cancer, and it's opposed by the midheaven and Pallas and the sun in Capricorn in your 1st house. So again, it's great for you to heal any relationships in your life that have gone awry. And it's also the ability to face things that you really want to avoid in that area of relationship. So, sometimes it's easier to just ghost someone than to apologize. And here, in this case, you're not going to do that. You're going to apologize or face the music so that the relationship can be healed and fixed and can continue. Also on the 6th, the moon reaches its 2nd quarter. It's waxing to becoming a full moon on the 13th of January. That's going to be a full moon in Cancer. So the energy, this willingness to heal relationships is at its strongest on the 6th of January. The moon then moves into Taurus on the 8th and 9th of January. And that's really interesting because it joins the transiting ascendant and Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected and the wonderful and chaotic. They're all in Taurus. And now the focus isn't so much on improving existing relationships, I think now you're going to have a strong desire to find a new relationship, and not just a friendship. It's mostly about a relationship with someone you want to fall in love with. So romance is going to become an interesting topic, but also what it can do, it can make clear to you what it is that you love to do at work, who you really are, and how you can turn who you really are into a paying job that you enjoy and that brings great satisfaction as well as an income. So if you're someone who feels like I still haven't nailed it as far as my career is concerned, the 8th and 9th are wonderful days where that may just click, because Uranus is the miraculous, right? So even if you've been searching for the right way of operating career-wise, and it's eluded you this far, you may find it on the 8th and 9th. So just pay attention to that a little bit or consider it. On the 8th as well, we have Mercury ingressing into Capricorn. So Mercury, the communication planet, goes into your sign and it goes into your first house of self. And what's also in there is your transiting midheaven, which is work, palace, wisdom, and the sun in Capricorn. Happy birthday, by the way. But this is really significant in the sense that you will understand what your ideal career is. So this month, Capricorn, you're supported in finding your life purpose as it relates to work. The moon goes into Gemini on the 10th and 11th. Wow, and it joins Jupiter, the lucky planet, the great benefic, also in your 6th house of work, and they're both in Gemini. So the 6th house is daily routine, structures, and your physical body, even your health. And Gemini is about problem solving. So any of those areas that need some work, or you feel you want to make some changes, either you want to improve your diet, or you want to reduce your commute, or you want to buy a property because you want to feel more secure, you'll get the answers for that on the 10th and 11th specifically. So the theme that's starting to appear for you, Capricorn, is that you're able to problem solve, you're able to heal things, and you're able to figure it out as far as the structures of your life are concerned, as well as your career. So everything is about you having lots of eureka moments where things click and you're like, I've got it. I know what I'm doing now. Hooray. On the 12th, the moon goes into Cancer, and also it extends into week 3. It stays in Cancer on the 13th and 14th, and that goes into your 7th house of relationships, and it joins Hades in retrograde and Mars in retrograde, all of them in Cancer. So again, it goes back to this aspect of life where you're able to heal certain relationships, and if that usually causes you anxiety or self-doubt, you're going to feel very comfortable to do that kind of work, to say, if we've had a misunderstanding or a disagreement, I would like to find a way forward, and you won't find it daunting, and you'll be able to pay attention to it, and you're very likely to get the outcome that you want. So let's see which houses the moon moved through in week 2. So on the 6th, it started in your 4th house, and it ended in your 7th house on the 12th. So that's quadrant 2 and house 7. Quadrant 2 is houses 4, 5, 6. So the second week is really about who's most important to me, how can I resolve conflicts, how can I bring new people into my life, and how can I improve my daily routine so that I'm more satisfied with it. So you're really the logistics expert who can shuffle things around as far as your lifestyle is concerned. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 13th to 19th of January. The moon is still in Cancer on the 13th and 14th, so healing relationships is still supported, but particularly on the 13th when we do have that full moon in Cancer. You're going to be showered in Cancer energy, so you'll love to connect with people in that nurturing, loving way. On the 15th and 16th, the moon goes into Leo, and it moves into your 8th house of institutions and the authorities. So watch out for that a little bit, because you might appear as a little overbearing or too sure of yourself, which could give other people the knee-jerk reaction of, we're not going to work with this person, let's put them in their place. So if you've got any, dealings with the government or the tax people or your employer, corporations, make sure you show up and that you listen as well as express your own point of view, but that you don't go overboard and put people off. Yeah. 17th and 18th of January, the moon goes into Virgo in your 9th house. The 9th house is travel, education, learning, broadening your horizons. And Virgo is about creating meaning. So 2 things, Capricorn. These 2 days, you'll really enjoy going on a trip, connecting with nature and visiting a place that you've never been to, that's unfamiliar. It will make other kind of pennies drop. You'll get information from those kind of experiences. But also you'll be very interested and very good at studying and filling any gaps of knowledge that you have. And that then is going to inform you much more about yourself, who you really are, and what the ideal career would be. And again, if you're a student or retired, it will give you an idea of, this is what I love, this is what I'm going to work on. So the student, this is the essay I'm going to write, I'm going to choose this topic. The retired person, this is what I love to do, so I'm going to get a wonderful garden and plant beautiful flowers. Then on the 19th, the moon goes into Libra, and that's in your 10th house of career, next to the South Node in Libra and Black Moon Lilith in Libra. So that's a really good day for you to connect with people in your work, to work as a team, to overcome any miscommunication or misunderstanding. So if you want to present your work, or if you have your annual review, or if you're talking to someone and trying to explain something, it's going to go really well in your working life. And again, that placement of Libra extends into week 4. It stays there on the 20th and 21st. But on the 19th of January, the sun moves into Aquarius, and that shifts out of your sign, Capricorn, and it goes into Aquarius in your 2nd house of money, and it sits next to Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, and the part of fortune. So allowing yourself to be taught or looking up information that may help you in your working life could lead to a door opening that you can walk through and create more of an income for yourself. It's an opportunity to learn something that then results in more abundance and prosperity in your life. So in week 3, the moon moved through certain houses. On the 13th, it started in your 7th house of relationships, and it ended up in your 10th house. So that's the 3rd quadrant, houses 7, 8, 9, and the 10th house. So this 3rd week is really about you in the public, as in the people I'm connecting with and healing relationships, learning and work. It's what you do outside of the home that's going to be most supported in week 3. And then week 4, which isn't really a week, but it's 11 days. It's Monday to Friday, the 20th to the 31st of January. The moon stays in Libra on the 20th and 21st, so still very good for work. But on the 21st particularly, the moon reaches its 4th quarter. It's waning down to becoming a new moon. So expect very little conflict or no disharmony in your career. Things are going to be kind of blissful. You can connect with everybody and find some sort of resolution or common ground that allows you to work well as a team. On the 22nd and 23rd, the moon then moves into Scorpio, and it goes into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. It sits next to Vesta and Juno in Scorpio in your 11th. So those are 2 days where you really pinpoint what you truly want in life, what's really important to you, what feels like home, what feels like endless summer, and it opposes Uranus and Taurus in your 5th house. So particularly any Capricorns who are single and who've enjoyed being single and haven't been quite sure of whether they want to be in a relationship or not, you'll understand what the ideal setup would be. And that understanding allows you to then immediately take practical action steps to change that. So to go on a date, for instance, to meet the right person, and to allow for chance to come in and for you to actually go on a date and for it to work out and to turn into a really good, meaningful, significant relationship. The moon goes into Sagittarius on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and it goes into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. Sagittarius is the centaur that gallops off, and it's got its bow and arrow, it points at something out there in the distance. And with this being in the 12th house, if you have longed to have some sort of spirituality or some sort of faith in your life and you haven't been able to accomplish that, you've tried different types of meditation or prayer or yoga and none of them have really worked for you, these 3 days, 24th, 25th, 26th, you can gallop off into the higher realms and gain your own experience and understanding of what exists on that plane and how it relates to you. On the 27th and the 28th, the moon goes back into your sign of Capricorn, and these 2 days, it joins Pallas and Mercury in Capricorn. So again, the wisdom of what is the ideal way for me to operate, the ideal way to work, becomes very apparent to you. But on the 27th as well, what we have happening is Mercury ingresses into Aquarius. So Mercury goes out of your first house in Capricorn, it goes into your second house, where it really then helps you to teach yourself what changes you need to make in order to have a more prosperous experience in your working life. On the 29th and 30th, the moon moves into Aquarius. Oh, and it joins Pluto and Mercury and the transiting midheaven and the sun. So the moon being in Aquarius, again, it's this, I understand now what I can change to have a much better time of it when it comes to acquiring securities and to create prosperity in my life. Specifically on the 29th of January, this is strongest because we have the new moon in Aquarius. The moon is pitch black, pulls in a ton of Aquarius energy, and it's like you have access to the spiritual mentor that you've been looking for. You know, like that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, the teacher does appear via the higher realms, and it tells you a different way forward so that you have a greater sense of wealth and abundance in your life. On the 30th, Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected, that goes direct until the 5th of September 2025. And it does that in your 5th house of love and romance and what you love to do work-wise. So again, that helps you not just in January, but for the next 9 months to really figure out what it is you love to do, what you want to do, and then to take the required action steps to build that in earnest. So whether it's to start your own spiritually based business or to take a course in mathematics so that you can be a maths teacher, whatever it may be that you want to pursue is going to be super clear. Finally, on the 31st of January, we've got the moon going into Pisces, and it joins Saturn and Venus and Neptune and the North Node in Pisces. And again, this is a day where it's very comfortable and rewarding to express your true feelings, especially in a creative way, or to connect to the higher realms via some sort of a spiritual practice and to get that sense of peace and security as a result of that spiritual practice. So in the last 11 days, let's see, the moon started on the 20th in your 10th house of career, and it ended up in your 3rd house of communication. So that's the left-hand side of the chart, quadrant 4 and quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 I would describe as the self, and quadrant 4 I would describe as transcending the self. So with the moon going through the 4th quadrant first, you receive information via the higher realms, through your colleagues. This is what could be. And then the second part of this last 11 days is you actually getting hands-on and putting all this new information to good use and saying, now that I've got it, I'm going to make these changes so that I have a better experience. So it looks like a fabulous month for you. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. I use astrology, the tarot, numerology, and my intuition in my personal readings. But if you just want astrology or just tarot, let me know. That's no problem. I can look at what's coming up in future. I can also look at a personality profile via the natal chart. To look at what's coming up, I check the progress chart and the transit. And if it's around your birthday, I also do a solar return chart. And that shows me what you can expect moving forward. But there's also astrocartography, which shows me which places in the world would work best for you. So if you're interested in any of those things, please do get in touch for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, so it shows up in searches. Subscribe for more videos in future. And if you know anyone whom you think may like this video, then please share this video with them. That's how the channel grows. And I also do a daily tarot reading on the channel. Please become a member to watch that. Watch out for the videos on the full moon and the new moons that are coming up. I'll make those soon. Have a wonderful January, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.